I've been keeping Amano Shrimp for as long as I can remember. In fact, in this 20-gallon log of mine that I recently built, there were 4 different types of Amano Shrimp. Today, I'm going to cover everything you need to know about caring for these captivating and beneficial creatures, so without further ado, let's dive right in. Amano shrimp, which are scientifically known as Caridina multidentata, are the second most popular type of dwarf shrimp next to the red cherry shrimp, and for good reason. Not only are they very attractive with their translucent silver blue bodies, but they're also widely known as the single best algae-eating shrimp in the world. Originating in Japan and parts of Southeast Asia, these shrimp were discovered by the world-famous aquarist Takashi Amano, who introduced them to the aquarium hobby in the 1980s for their algae-eating ability. These days, due to their popularity, these shrimp can be found all over the world. Amano shrimp, which are sometimes referred to as Yamato shrimp, thrive in freshwater habitats, particularly in slow-moving rivers, streams, and ponds in their native regions. These habitats typically offer a combination of vegetation, rocks, and substrate where the shrimp can find shelter, forage for food, and breed. Amano shrimp are adaptable creatures and can tolerate a wide range of water parameters, but they prefer clean, well-oxygenated water with stable conditions. In aquariums, they appreciate environments that mimic their natural habitat, with ample hiding places, plants, and surfaces to graze on algae. Amano shrimp are generally a translucent light gray, but can also be translucent with shades of green, light brown, or light reddish brown. They also have solid grayish blue or reddish brown dots and dashes that run the length of their bodies. On the top side of their body, these shrimp have a narrow lighter stripe that runs the length of their back. A full-grown female Amano shrimp can grow to be around 2 to 3 inches in length. They're generally larger than males, which tend to reach sizes of 1.5 to 2 inches. However, individual sizes can vary based on factors such as diet, genetics, and environmental conditions. The growth rate of the shrimp is relatively fast, especially compared to other shrimp species. They can grow from juvenile to adult in as little as 2 months. Keep in mind that when you purchase these shrimp initially, they can vary in size from 0.75 inches to 1.25 inches. These shrimp have a relatively long lifespan compared to many other freshwater shrimp. On average, they can live for around 2 to 3 years in suitable aquarium conditions. However, with optimal care and a healthy environment, some Amanos have been known to live for up to 5 years or more. It's important to provide them with a clean and well-maintained tank, suitable water parameters, and a balanced diet to help maximize their lifespan. Amano shrimp can be kept in tanks as small as 10 gallons. However, it's best to keep them in larger tanks if possible, as they are very active shrimp. As a general guideline, keep about 1 Amano for every 2 to 3 gallons of water. When setting up your tank, include plenty of hiding places for your shrimp. Amano shrimp are constantly moving and need a lot of space to explore. Driftwood, live plants, and rocks can create a natural-looking environment for your shrimp. These shrimp do best in tanks that have well-oxygenated water with a slow to medium current. Amano shrimp are hardy, which makes them quite adaptable to a wide range of water parameters. They do well in water that has a pH range of 6.5 to 8.0, temperature range of 65 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which equates to 18 to 27 degrees Celsius, GH of 5 to 15, KH of 1 to 10, and a TDS range of 80 to 450. Amano shrimp are susceptible to sudden changes in water parameters. Fluctuations in pH, temperature, ammonia and nitrite levels can harm these shrimp. Amanos are usually wild caught, so it's important to acclimate them slowly and carefully before adding them to your tank. Personally, I drip acclimate my shrimp for about 3 hours before placing them in my tank, but whatever method works for you, continue using it. Keep your water well oxygenated and well filtered, as these shrimp are sensitive to poor water quality. It's important to note that even though you may do everything right, there is a possibility that these shrimp could die shortly after being added to your tank. The fact that they're wild caught and the stress of transportation from the supplier to the fish store to your aquarium, not to mention the change in water parameters, are contributing factors. When doing water changes, aim to replace about 10 to 15% of the water, as too big of a change can stress these shrimp. There are some of you that may only do water top-ups and no water changes, and if you're currently finding success in that method, continue doing what works for you. Amano shrimp are low maintenance, generally peaceful in nature, and get along well with other tank mates. Yes, that includes red cherry shrimp as well. However, when it comes to food, they can get a bit aggressive. If you drop pellets, for example, you may notice these shrimp stealing one for themselves. One of the most notable behaviors of Amano shrimp is their voracious appetite for algae. They're excellent algae eaters and can help keep aquariums clean by consuming various types of algae, including green algae, brown algae, and even some forms of blackbeard algae. Due to their algae-eating habits, they're often valued by aquarists as effective cleaners and referred to as the workhorse of the aquarium. In terms of social behavior, Amano shrimp are not particularly social or interactive with other fish or shrimp species. They tend to focus on foraging and exploring their environment rather than engaging in social interactions. However, they may exhibit some interesting behaviors such as molting, where they shed their exoskeleton to grow larger, and breeding behaviors when conditions are suitable. While Amano shrimp are primarily known for their algae-eating habits, they're also detritivores to some extent. This means that they feed on detritus, which is decomposing organic matter such as dead plant material, uneaten fish food, and other organic debris present in the aquarium. Although Amano shrimp primarily consume algae, they will also scavenge and feed on detritus as part of their diet. For these shrimp to stay healthy, supplemental feeding with shrimp-specific foods is required, as this will give them the nutrients and minerals they require to molt successfully and to thrive in your aquarium. I feed my shrimp various glass garden products like Bacteria, Shrimp Baby, Shrimp Dinner, Shrimp Lollies, and Mineral Junkie. I also feed them powdered fish flakes, hikari algae wafers, frozen brine shrimp, and blanched vegetables from time to time. If you'd like more information on some of these foods, check out the video in the top right corner. If you're interested in buying any of these foods, check out my Amazon store, which you'll find in the description below. In regards to how often you should feed your shrimp, depends on a few factors such as the number of shrimp you have in your tank, the number of tank mates they have, the size of the shrimp, and the size of the tank. When it comes to my 20-gallon long tank with 20 Amanos and 20 neon tetras, I feed them about 3 to 4 times a week. If you have a small tank with only a few shrimp, you can easily get away with feeding them once or twice a week. You have to remember that there is biofilm, algae, and other organic matter in the tank that they will also feed on. The sex of an Amano shrimp can be determined by the dots on their exoskeleton. Along their lower side, the males will have a row of discrete round dots. Females will have stretched out dots that appear as broken dotted lines. These dots can be a reddish brown or a blue-green color. Females are also larger in size than males. The easiest way to determine the sex is to look for the saddle that appears behind the shrimp's head. The saddle is where the ovaries are located, and when the shrimp is preparing to reproduce, it may appear darker or more prominent. This is because it contains developing eggs. Amano shrimp are extremely difficult to breed as their larvae require brackish water conditions to survive. They will also require a slow change from brackish water to freshwater as they mature to adulthood. This is why most Amano shrimp purchased in pet stores are wild caught. If you wish to try your hand at breeding them, it is something that is possible but also requires precision on your end and a lot of patience, as there's no guarantee how the babies will do the first couple of times you attempt raising them. The information that I'm about to provide you with is what I've read, and I've never tried to breed them before. It's important to do some research on your end and see what actually works. After mating, the female shrimp will carry the developing eggs under her pleopods for about 4 to 6 weeks until they hatch. You will then want to transfer the female to a breeding container or tank with very similar water conditions. If you have a shrimp-only tank, when the eggs hatch, you can use a light to bring the larvae to the water's surface and then siphon them out. During this larval stage, you will have 4 to 7 days to transfer them to brackish water, but try to do it immediately. The larvae will require brackish water with a specific gravity ranging between 1.005 and 1.015. This equates to approximately 5 to 15 parts per thousand, or 5 to 15 grams of salt per liter of water. It's also important to maintain a pH range of 7.5 to 8.0 and a temperature of 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. You will want to provide sufficient aeration and oxygenation of the water, as well as very gentle filtration to maintain a high water quality. As the larvae molt and grow, gradually reduce the salinity of the water over several weeks until it matches the freshwater conditions of the main aquarium. Once the juvenile shrimp are large enough and fully adapted to fresh water, you can place them in the main aquarium. Molting is a natural process in the life cycle of Amano shrimp, as well as many other crustaceans, where they shed their exoskeleton to accommodate growth. Amanos molt once every 5 or 6 weeks approximately. Before molting, Amanos will typically become less active and may seek sheltered areas in the aquarium. They may also stop eating in the days leading up to molting. As the shrimp prepares to molt, it secretes enzymes that soften the old exoskeleton, making it easier to shed. During molting, the shrimp will arch its body and gradually push itself out of the old exoskeleton. This entire process can take several minutes to hours. After molting, the shrimp will be soft and vulnerable and will usually retreat to a safe hiding spot while the new exoskeleton begins to harden. If you do come across the molt in your aquarium, you can leave it in there for your shrimp to eat as it contains a rich source of calcium. If you're a first-time shrimp keeper, coming across a molt in your tank for the first time can be scary as you may think it's a dead shrimp. To tell the difference, the molt is usually translucent, whereas a dead shrimp will turn pink. There are times when a shrimp may fail to molt, which could lead them to being stuck within their old exoskeleton and eventually dying. On rare occasions, you may notice a white band around your shrimp, which is called the white ring of death. This white ring is caused by the separation of the old exoskeleton from the underlying new exoskeleton. Poor water quality, lack of calcium, stress, and lack of essential nutrients are usually contributing factors. Molting is a vital process for Amano shrimp as it allows them to grow and replace damaged body parts or worn-out exoskeletons. It's essential to provide a suitable environment with appropriate water parameters, calcium-rich foods, and hiding spots to support the molting process. Additionally, ensure the water quality is maintained to minimize stress during this vulnerable period. Shrimp, including Amano shrimp, can be susceptible to various diseases, some of which are caused by pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, and fungi, while others may result from poor water conditions or stress. Bacterial infections can manifest in various forms, including shell rot, bacterial shell disease, and bacterial infections of internal organs. Symptoms may include discoloration, lesions, lethargy, and loss of appetite. Viral diseases, such as viral necrosis, can affect the shrimp's health and may lead to high mortality rates. Symptoms may include cloudy or opaque patches on the shrimp's shell, lethargy, and eventual death. Fungal infections can occur externally on the shrimp's shell or internally, affecting organs such as the gills. Symptoms may include fuzzy growths, lesions, and respiratory distress. Parasitic infestations such as gill flukes, anchorworms, or Scuturella japonica, SCUT for short, can infest shrimp, causing irritation, damage to gills, and decreased overall health. Prevention and management of shrimp diseases involve maintaining optimal water quality, providing a balanced diet, avoiding overcrowding, and quarantining new shrimp before introducing them to established populations. Additionally, promptly addressing any signs of illness, such as changes in behavior or appearance, can help minimize the spread and impact of diseases. Amano shrimp do fine with other shrimp and fish that won't try to bully or eat them. They do well in the company of other peaceful tank mates. I currently keep my Amano shrimp with guppies, coolie loaches, honey gouramis, galaxy rasboras, chili rasboras, dwarf rasboras, Beckford's pencilfish, pygmy corydoras, panda corydoras, and neon tetras. I've also kept them with a betta fish, but they hid most of the time as the betta was pretty aggressive. Not every betta is the same, so if you decide to add Amanos to your betta tank, have a backup tank in place in case you notice your betta being aggressive towards them. Amanos will not do well in tanks that have large fish, as they can get constantly bullied or even become a tasty snack. Overall, Amano shrimp can make a great addition to a community tank or shrimp-only tank. They're incredible cleaners, probably the best algae eaters, and make for good tank mates. So if you're looking for an active shrimp that will add to the liveliness of your aquarium while keeping it clean and tidy, the Amano shrimp is an excellent choice. If you found this video helpful and would like more shrimp keeping tips and advice, please consider subscribing. Stay tuned for more of my upcoming content, but in the meantime, check out these additional videos on Amano shrimp. I'm Andy, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.